Scott Narver, it sounds like Saudi Arabia is getting the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd Bacon, I've heard that, and I don't like it one bit.
Why not?
Because there were better shows to do in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay, because the Royal Rumble's so important. Well, what else would you rather see there?
Bad Blood.
Oh.
Survivor Series.
Ooh, maybe not so appropriate.
Full Gear.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense. I mean, technically the woman will be in Full Gear.
WWE Royal Rumble potentially in Saudi Arabia and more this week on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
How's your hearing?
It's blown out. How's yours?
Same's. I made an adjustment before we started recording, before we went live, because I felt like the volume was a little low on the microphone in the headphones. Forgot how that would affect the theme song, which destroyed our eardrums.
You know what? You could be predicting at the time of this recording what everyone goes through on January 6th in Los Angeles for Netflix Raw. That you know, I didn't realize it was going to be that loud. No, Cody's changing it now. Cody's changing the January 6th narrative.
I was going to say,
because he's saying to everybody, like, you're going to be there January 6th. It's like, Cody, what are we talking about? What are we talking about, Cody? You got that?
Stop dressing like Homelander and talking about January 6th.
It's crazy. So he's taking it back.
Hi. How are you? Happy New Year. Hello to everybody. Especially those joining us via this super exclusive Patreon-only live stream. Come and join us for these recordings live, only at patreon.com/PWPalskis. The current PWP champ, Mike Lucas, is in the chat. Mike Lucas,
fearful, probably trembling at the knees,
will defend that title at the end of this live stream here today.
The names
against a whole new... What do they always call it? Not a climate.
Jobbers.
Landscape. It's a whole new landscape. A whole lot of names there in the brand new jar for the PWP championship. I mean, not a lot of new names. It's all names that we know already. It's just more names than last time.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not new names to us. They're old names to us. New competitors.
Bunch of no-name new names.
I love all the hype about us being like, there's so many more people in it, and we're just going to pull Mike's name again.
No way. There's people that are going, oh, that's right. I was supposed to sign up, or oh man, my partner was supposed to use the link I sent to sign me up. It would have been a good gift, but no, they got me socks.
Ugh.
Something, so then they're like, all right, I'm going to listen to this episode, and then I'm going to go sign on myself because I forgot I could have been champ for January. I guess I'll be the February champ and have a shorter reign, but then I'll get all that wonderful content that's available on their Patreon and help support the show.
Maslam in the chat says he's eligible for the title. Look out. And Mike says, I ain't afraid of no new landscape. So there you go.
Oh,
no landscapes to be fearful of.
Mike is clearly a waxer. You know this now.
He is afraid of some manscape though.
Who isn't? You don't do it. You don't participate.
That's not true at all. I do a lot of manscaping. I'm well groomed. Maybe not for these live streams, but when I know I'm like going out and about, I clean that shit up. I'm real good. I'm real tight.
Man, when I go out with you, it just sounds like shrubs in a tornado.
Shrubs in a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a ton of experience listening to shrubs and tornadoes, so I can't really speak to the accuracy.
I think you do, because you walking around, so his thighs scraping with all that pubes. Starting a fire.
Speaking of pubes starting fires, what's in the news of pro wrestling?
Oh boy, no, we need a little buffer for that because we got a sad one to start.
I have been so unplugged from pro wrestling. I know that.
Hold on, that's not news.
That is not news.
That is 2024.
Even
2023.
Even more unplugged. I know by the time listeners who aren't joining us live are hearing this, they have already seen Raw on Netflix. That is tomorrow for us,
Right.
which I'm excited about.
There are things to talk about with that, but it seems kind of pointless.
But I don't know anything about leading up into it. I have not seen anything.
It's going to be on Netflix.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean Tadum?
To Dominic Mysterio?
To Dominator?
I don't get into that. I know everybody's like into the noise of
No, because that was what they tried to make a new stream, but they tried to make a separate service called Tadum. So I was making.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I know they also have videos where they have people do it. If something's on Netflix, they
did it for wrestlers. They did one with a bunch of WWE.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, this is such a waste of time.
I
don't know why they're not talking about what their manscaping or ladyscaping is. Like, that would be so much more of an interesting video to know, like, who's shaving, who's waxing, and what. Like, I don't want to see, because I immediately thought less of people that did such a poor job of imitating a sound. Like, Rhea Ripley, I love. Amazing. Got the hots, like, amazing performer in every way. And then she goes like, ta-dam. And you go, what the? Don't show that. That's horrible.
Leave that one out of the edit.
Yeah.
So, are you angry? Are you more angry that Netflix made them make that video, or that that people didn't commit? Which is more upsetting to you?
I'm more mad, I think, at the wrestling landscape.
Oh, all right.
Many of them go, no, that's not good for my gimmick, brother, and then just walk off.
So you're mad that they don't do that? That they just go, all right, I guess I'm going to do this.
Yeah, just say no. No, I'm not doing that. No, but come on, it's promotion for the.
But Triple H is in charge now. You guys are happy.
Yeah, I am. I'm happy to not do this.
Okay.
I'll rank movies on your thing.
Sure.
But like, no. Am I getting a Netflix show out of this? Sort of. No, but I'm not getting it. I'm not New Day trying to escape the Undertaker and his MAGA House of Horrors.
They're gonna bring that for another. I think they were bringing that back for another season.
They should revamp it.
Yeah.
Since now Kofi and Xavier are bad guys.
Oh no.
Maybe they're recruitable. I don't know.
They're gonna be like that heel spell bit.
Oh,
the blind black guy
right
in the clan doesn't realize it.
I rewatched that not too long ago.
Really?
That holds up.
Where? Do you have the DVD?
I have the DVD, and I also bought the show digitally.
Oh, I think I also have it digitally on a Vudu or I'm sorry, the streamer formerly known as Vudu.
Oh yeah, Fandango at home.
I refuse Fandango at home.
It's too many words. Or just Fandango. Why Fandango at home?
Because they want to differentiate between like the website if you go and you buy tickets. I think that it is a different thing.
Yeah, but you don't go Fandango at the movie theater. That's not a.
I think that's just regular Fandango.
Yeah, there's no like, oh, do you want a Grubhub at home or do you want a Grubhub?
I think that's different though, because the difference is, restaurant's name versus Grubhub. So Fandango, I guess in that argument, but Fandango is still a service that gets movie tickets to a theater. Now we're arguing very stupid semantics. Nobody cares. This is very too dumb. Screw Fandango. I prefer Tyler Breeze, says Mike Lucas in the chat.
Brought it all back around.
All right. Anyways, enough of this nonsense.
All right. So we got some news. And like I said, the first one is a little bit sad. Former NWA World Champion Jax Dane passes away at 48.
Gosh.
You familiar with Jax
No,
Dane?
I'm not familiar. I don't know who this is.
Okay. Bring him up. You might have seen him a little bit in TNA. I certainly could see that you'd missed sort of his reign. He might have popped up in some NWA when we were watching that when it was on YouTube.
Right. Wrestling has impermeated my brain in such a negative way that I assumed it was spelt Dayne.
Close.
And then
just know why.
And then it came up and I was like, oh yeah, that's how it should be spelled.
Yeah, your computer knows you to go like, yeah, this is
Dane.
So he was
maybe
friends and partners with Crimson. Like they did a whole bunch of stuff together. Let me continue reading here. The NWA is mourning the devastating loss of a former champion, Jax Dane, real name Jeremy Lehman, a mainstay of the NWA both before and during the Billy Corgan era, passing away at 48 years old on Christmas Day. A statement issued by the NWA on Thursday disclosed that Dane's death was due to complications from a heart attack he suffered in November.
Oh, gosh.
So I think that's 2 wrestlers now that we've lost on Christmas Day that I'm aware of. I mean, sure.
Who was the
with
other
amount
person?
of number, I think Brody Lee had died on Christmas Day.
Was that Christmas Day?
Yeah, because
That I don't remember. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that you're saying it, it does sound familiar.
I mean, if
no,
you're
day
negative-
after.
Day after.
Yeah, but
Boxing
still.
Day.
Alexandra's birthday is the most important day. I have to say that.
Oh,
She might be listening.
I said it. All right.
Hoymiss, as it's been come to known on Discord and other places.
Hoymiss?
Her last name, Hoey. Hoymiss.
Oh.
Hoymiss instead of Christmas.
I thought you wanted
that
some
sucks.
Hoymiss with some chips.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, really rough.
Understatement of the century.
He, I met him a little bit when we did some On Your Mark stuff.
Are you talking about Brody? Or are you talking about?
No, I never met Brody.
Okay, you're talking about Jax.
Don't meet your heroes.
Right.
Don't do it. Jax Dane, I met him at TNT Wrestling. That was a company that Crimson was running. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but it was a show. Can't remember. We're driving around, Shane and I doing stuff, and I think it was like either in Tennessee or Georgia or something like that. And it was one of the most impressive live shows I've seen. That was independently run, and the community and stuff that they built there. And Crimson was cool, and like I said, got to meet Jax in brief. And when you see the guy, like that's a big bulldog of a man.
Yeah, I mean, when I've just looked him up, I saw the photos and I recognize him, but only from photos. I don't think I've ever seen him wrestle, but I've seen people, especially independents,
like in NWA when we're watching, he was popping up in there. But whether he had a major thing or not,
I'm talking more that like there's one specific image where I know I've seen that image a bunch because you know in the indies and other things it's like you constantly seeing like these two people are fighting each other and it's the same graphic they use for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've definitely seen the image, but I don't think I'm familiar with his work.
But he the look is someone that you want if you have a wrestler showing up at your door and you go, oh yeah,
right,
you're fucking perfect,
right.
And he was cool. He was, for what looks like a bulldog of a man, very nice. Came and shook her hands and just going like, "Hey guys, welcome." He said like, "Glad to have you here," which was something you just don't really expect.
Right.
And enthusiastic, and I've always enjoyed him. I've never seen him in something that was like a major high profile angle or something, but he's always just been steady and good and enjoyable. And the NWA put out a statement here saying Dane is survived by his wife, stepson, and father, who will forever cherish his memory. Jax Dane loved professional wrestling deeply, and he certainly loved those he fought and rode with. I know I speak for all of the National Wrestling Alliance when saying Jax will be missed, said Corgan. We will do our best to honor him and make his family proud as we carry forth. There are those men and women who carry the legacy of champion because they have risen to such heights, and then there are those who that earn the respect of a champion simply because of who they are. To this, I can say simply and personally that Jax was such a man, forever be in our hearts. So Dane was a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, holding 10 pounds of gold for 419 days between 2015 and 2016. And he also held the tag team titles as well as the National Heavyweight Championship and North American Championship during his career.
Wow. So, yeah, that's a tragedy. So young too. Gosh.
Yeah, it's a bummer. So, like we say, when these things happen, now's the time to go and watch the work, reminisce.
And that's like, it's one of the great things about wrestling, especially modern era wrestling, is that everything is shot. Like every independent show you can get videos of, and like obviously there's always been tape trading and stuff like that, but it's so easy now that like even an independent, I'm not diminishing him by talking about independent wrestling. I'm just talking about all wrestlers. I just want to make that clear. That like
you think like, oh, how am I going to watch that show that was in Poughkeepsie?
Exactly.
Like,
what I'm trying to make is
someone's got
even an independent wrestler who's only wrestled a few matches, that legacy is internet forever, which is, one of the nice things, one of the very few good things the internet ever gave us.
What?
It's the ability to watch, people's work. Fandango at home.
Yeah, all these things.
Man.
So if you're unfamiliar, get familiar.
Yeah.
And if you are familiar, refamiliarize.
I'll have to take a look at some of that stuff.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe someone will pop up on our watch long at some point
Maybe
in this year, in which we'll check him out. But as that fades, we go on to Jeff Jarrett. Still around. I don't have Jeff Jarrett's dead dude.
Gonna say, Jay's Louise.
Double J signs a new contract and will finish in-ring career with AEW.
Oh, wow.
You know, on that part, I don't know about that.
So you're telling me that somebody has already decided how they're going to end their career and announced it in pro wrestling, so it must be written in stone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's how it always works. We talk
That's
about...
what you should do. He should just go, you know what? 2025 is my last time. My time
right.
is ending now.
To the John Cena.
Just do the whole thing. Just do everything. Start rapping.
We've talked a lot about how we no longer really have guests on the program, and I'm fine with that, but we know that we've lost listeners because they're like, oh, they don't talk to wrestlers anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But there's been talks of...
But I will say,
in some regard.
Jarrett is like the only guy that I go like, nah, I wish we could have him just call in more. And just like, he's one of those people who is like, there's a level of...
I don't get enough shit thrown at me.
Yeah, well, there's that too. I would like to have a partner for once. But there's just a level of like, he lives the gimmick, but in a way that's not frustrating versus like is playful. He lives the gimmick in a playful way. Like he's the best version of it.
He's also the consummate promoter.
Yes, that's sure.
As well, because he wears that hat very, very well.
That one that looks, the cowboy one,
mm-hmm.
That's his promoter hat.
And it's got the two J's that light up on it.
Yeah,
he's an incredible Kearney.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him back in WWE. I cannot wait.
That's the tricky part. I don't know if that regime really cares for him, because
he's already Hall of Famer,
position
right?
he had,
yeah. So
last
like
position he had was doing
the live shows.
Yes,
right.
Whatever the coordinator, director,
right?
Whatever it was,
live event coordinator.
But then that all got restructured, and then I'd like to think Triple H can work professionally with everybody, but whether there's the occasional person that goes like,
right.
Yeah, fuck that guy, I don't like him.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just speculation. That is based off of nothing.
I'm joking. I don't disbelieve him. Like he's at that age and he's from that era where like he's also done, his career trajectory has been so much different from the Flairs.
The man who he retired.
Yeah. Well, the point I'm trying to make is like, I actually trust him more to be like, yeah, I'm done, than I do other people.
I would imagine Jeff Jarrett is in professional wrestling to a degree for all of time.
Sure.
But an active in-ring performer is coming to an end.
Yes. And I believe him more than I believe many others from his regime.
Right.
And from that time period, because he's just done so much more. He's worked, like I said, the consummate promoter. He's also done it for he's done every job for every company.
I think he began wrestling in the 70s. Whether it's before that, I'm not sure. So that's 5 decades.
Yeah, man.
He started a company. He started 2 companies. He's wrestled damn near everyone there is to wrestle.
Right.
And sort of when you're at that status of legend, what else is there to really do? And when you're at a place that pays ridiculous amounts of money,
right?
How do you not say like, yeah, I guess I'll wrap it up here.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe Tony's got an interest in Jarrett right now.
Yeah.
And we'll showcase him in a proper way.
There's also just something to be said about, despite our opinions on the current product of AEW, like just because we don't like what we see doesn't mean it's a bad place to be if you're happy with it.
Yeah.
You know? And like,
if it's
plenty of people who
work.
Yeah.
And he's having a good time hanging out with his friends in the faction. It's like,
I mean,
that's not great.
My job right now, I'm working for a production company making horrible movies. I have no interest.
Would I like these movies?
No.
Are they on Fandango at home?
Nobody likes these movies. And I go, yeah, no, I'm happy to
Can I be in one of these movies?
I'm happy that you don't want to.
No, that's not true.
But in any case, like sometimes work is just work too. It's just like, he's like, yeah, I'm done here. Why? Because work is good.
Yeah.
But Tim Redbeard says, hello, Scott. Hello, Jake. Look at that. Sometimes in the chat, you just say hi to us.
He said, hey.
He actually said, hey. Yeah.
Maslama said Jeff Jarrett was a legendary interview.
I wasn't there.
Listening on the show.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you could have subscribed to
I was there for one of them. I was there for a phone one.
Oh, okay.
When he phoned in.
I mean,
and I don't mean that in the figurative sense. I meant that in the literal sense. I was there for the one he really phoned in.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of the people I've talked with most in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we always kept up.
Well, no, but he was familiar with you and what you do in a way that I think a lot of wrestlers aren't with other journalists, pundits, whatever you want to call the roles that you've played throughout the years. Like, and I think that rapport is just fun to have, and it just makes everything better versus like him talking to somebody where there's no history, there's no connection, there's no shtick of any kind.
I'll share one insight on just kind of the behind the scenes of it all. So the day that we come in for Fox Sports to basically agree to all the terms of like, yeah, we're going to do the show here now and we're meeting everybody.
Right.
One of the reps there working at Fox Sports, talking about this was saying, hey, Jeff Jarrett reached out and, he's really excited about this and that pro wrestling is going to be on Fox Sports and all that. And then moments later, like I think Johnny was looking at his phone and then said like, oh, he just followed me on Instagram.
Right.
Followed all of us on Instagram right away. Like that guy who's just going, well, how can I promote?
Right. Yeah.
How can I do the next thing? And found out about the news before I think we'd even made it a point to say it to anybody else.
Right. But because he knows somebody at Fox Sports. And so there was an inside connection there. Yeah.
And then was setting up from that time. When can we do something?
Right.
When he comes into town, can I come in the studio and do something?
Dude.
Yeah. Just that savviness of, granted, in this climate, why would you have to know all that if you're,
of course,
so many other people in the wrestling industry? Why does Braun Strowman need to know that?
Right.
He doesn't.
Right.
When EC3's controlling his narrative, that's probably a skill set that maybe he didn't know till later. Like, oh, I should know that. I should know the shows that are out there that are, you got your JRs and your everybody else that they're talking about their stuff, or they're talking to Stone Colds.
Right.
They're probably not going to take me on. All right. What's the next tier?
Right.
Who are these two fucking guys talking about stuff?
Right.
Will they talk to me? Can I promote on their show?
Right.
Jarrett just had that shit.
Yeah. He's a hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Good dude.
Yeah. Good dude. I hope that he's happy with where he is. And that's all that matters.
Yeah. I hope he's getting paid handsomely.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about Jarrett.
We did. That's true.
You think you know him. Now who am I talking about?
I believe you're talking about the artist formerly known as Edge, Mr. Adam Copeland.
Nope.
No, I think Cope is what you meant.
That's right. So you peeked at the news, did you?
No, this I saw on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
This see, you're not that unplugged.
Okay, sure. I guess I'm not that unplugged.
Adam Copeland changes ring name to Cope.
And do you think he did this in order to cope with where he is right now?
Well, do you know what show it happened at, which seems almost in poor taste?
No.
AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen.
Oh, no. God.
I don't know why that part's not being talked about.
Cope. He changed his name to Cope on the tribute show for dead soldiers.
Or like it's previously been gunshot victims, like mass shootings.
Sure.
It changes what they do it for. I don't know what this one is for.
I thought it was always military.
But it's still Fight for the Fallen.
Cope with it.
Hey, everybody, I'm Cope.
I'm Cope here with...
This is my partner. Fucking deal with it.
God damn it, you beat me to the punch. I was going to say something very similar to that.
And here's our manager. Get over it. And our faction's called Move On.
Yeah. And we're fighting for the Suck It Up title.
What the fuck? So he's Cope. Adam Copeland shortened his ring name to Cope.
Man, can I tell you how disappointed I was this morning? Just sitting on the can doing my typical social media scroll.
Yeah.
And I clicked over to Palskis to like our accounts to see whether or not you posted watch alongs, because you never post the the photos there, and it makes me sad. But
that's when you know something horrible's happened in my week.
Great. But anyways, that's where all of the wrestling stuff I see.
I did post this week though.
Oh, good job. I saw. I saw a like behind the scenes of Edge's return to the Rumble. It was just like them getting him in and him in that little room and Beth walking in and like the secrecy and then like they show them
just walk around.
They
no one
show
cares
them
about Beth.
They show like her like backstage crying and him coming out. And I was immediately like, God, this is so amazing. I don't care at all about what he's doing right now. And that is so heartbreaking.
You don't care about Cope? Dude, you got to have hope for Cope.
That's a fucking you should write for AEW.
I could. But we'll get to that plug later, in which I'm going to be restricted from all things wrestling.
My favorite is when eventually he tries to come up with the names of his fans, and he's going to be like, everybody out here in Copeland. And like, oh shit, we just got back to where we started.
Cope and Cabana?
Cope and Cabana?
They could be tag team partners. Cope and Cabana.
Cope and the Dope.
Well, I don't know what he smokes.
That's
RVD.
him and RVD. Yeah, Cope and Dope. Cope heads, Tim Redbeard says, instead of Edge heads, Cope heads.
Mass Llama says, this year, Fight for the Fallen was dedicated to the victims of Hurricane
Helene
and was held in Asheville.
Gotcha.
So, still, Cope. So it's a moniker that he's been using in social media handles since leaving WWE. And I guess, I don't know what one of his kids said. There's a name, Pops.
I doubt it. I doubt Lyric had any insight into this.
His child's name's Lyric,
isn't it? Or did I just make that up?
I think
that's his kid's name.
Lyric Cope.
I thought I remember that because it came up recently in something Alexandra was doing and mentioned a character named Lyric, and I was like, oh, Edge would love that.
Okay.
Let's see. Is that actually?
Is the other one named Note?
Lyric Rose Copeland. That's their daughter's name.
Well, if we're doing themes for watch long, Mike Lucas chimed in with we could have done Cornucopia.
Oh, there we go.
Just a battle royal filled with edges. Yeah, you know what? I will say this in the positive for this.
Okay.
Adam Copeland, formerly Edge, did solve a problem. He removed an Adam out of the equation of AEW.
100% correct. Yes.
That is one thing.
Yes.
In the positive. But I
still think he should have went with Sting. I think he should have been like, he's not using it anymore.
Yeah.
I was Edge. I'm going to be Sting. I'm going to be all of the singers and musicians that have one name in popular music.
Yeah.
He's going to be Prince eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Retire as Madonna.
What about Rated R Superstar? What if that was his name?
Well, right. Like his whole name is Rated R Superstar. People call him Rate for his nickname. Hey, Rate, come here.
Hey, R.
R. He should have been R. No, never mind.
What if we would maybe just Superstar? Call him Superstar.
Soup.
Yeah, Soup. Cope Soup.
SUPE, Soup, like short for Superman.
So when I read this, I was like, no fucking way. That's not real. It was probably just for the night. And I looked on the website and then I'm looking and there's 19 Adams and I go, it's not there anymore. And then I scroll down and I go, yeah, his name's Cope.
Oh boy.
How we initially always go like, what the fuck? And then later we go, yeah, Cope. There's no semblance of this is weird anymore. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Do you like that his name's Cope now? What would you have called him?
Yeah, I don't have anything better. But
Beth Phoenix.
I was just gonna say he should have called him something Phoenix. That would have been just like take her last name.
About that. Yeah, like Adam. I thought Adam Phoenix.
Yeah.
At the time would have been fucking rad.
Or just simply Phoenix. Call him Phoenix. Let him come out. Call him
a Phoenix. There's a period Phoenix.
Something about ashes, rising from the ashes, something Phoenix related. I don't know.
Ashes to ashes and butts to dust.
Call him the Glamazon.
Oh yeah.
The
Jamazon. Something about his jaw, his protruding jaw that just keeps coming out further and further
as he gets older.
Yeah. So we got some more AEW news. AEW Dynamite replays to air on True TV. Per the network schedule, replays of the company's flagship show on TBS will begin airing on Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern on True TV, starting with next week's episode. Part of Warner Brothers Discovery's lineup of channels, True TV is available in approximately 68 million homes. This is probably one of them.
And doesn't that also just automatically put it on Max? Because isn't all of True TV on Max?
Well, we're getting there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm going to get ahead.
And then True TV is potential landing spot for Ring of Honor as well, but that's not been confirmed yet. And with the new...
Can I just clarify real quickly?
Yeah.
You say landing spot. Is that because right now there is no place where you can watch Ring of Honor? Is it not anywhere?
I think it's just premium YouTube stuff.
Got it. Okay.
And then pay-per-views. With a new multi-year TV rights deal taking effect Wednesday, so is the influx of archive content available on Max. The first 12 episodes of Dynamite from October through December 2019 are now available, in addition to 17 total consecutive episodes of Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage from October 30th through December 21st of 2024. The company's first 5 specials, pay-per-views from 2019 are also available for Max subscribers, starting with Double or Nothing through Full Gear. But it is yet to be revealed what the other episodes are, when those are going to be released in the archive, what future episodes are going to be, how quickly they turn around, and what the other pay-per-views are going to be. So they have over 700 total hours of content as of now that is expected to be available. And then they will begin simulcast of both Dynamite and Collision on Max starting Wednesday.
Gotcha.
So stuff is finally happening with all that.
That's good that people who are fans of that have a place to go watch it.
And I'm happy that I know we do the watch along stuff where people can watch what we're watching.
Right. We can use that.
We can use that. And also there's just more easy shit to pull from.
Right.
That it hasn't just gone away somewhere. And I think it was crazy that they didn't fucking just start putting the occasional match on YouTube.
Right.
And just say, hey, full match.
Sure.
And and let people watch it and monetize. But just for the sake of, if people want to watch something old, like if you want to watch that Cody Rhodes and Dustin
match,
there it is.
Yeah.
It's now somewhere where you can readily watch it.
Yeah, that's good news.
So does this change anything for you?
No, nothing. I mean, it does change stuff for me. It means that now everything you just said also applies to me. For watch-alongs, we can pull stuff. There's stuff there.
You're not going to start watching Rampage?
Do you know what I might? I mean, what it truly means, it means I no longer need your Bleacher Report live logins. That's what it means.
That's true.
When I want to watch,
I don't know if that
Collision.
shit works anymore anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't tried it in a while, but also Bleacher Report is also folded into HBO Max now too, I believe. Like they have a tab that says BR Live. I noticed because that's how I watched the
which is weird because it's
Winter
not
Classic,
BR Live,
NHL Winter Classic. Oh, really?
Yeah, the AEW stuff isn't on BR. They don't do anything with it anymore because it went so poorly.
Yeah, I don't know. Corporate mergers and synergies above our pay grade. And our pay grade is nothing. We don't get paid. So I don't know what that means.
Checking in about the Edge name debacle.
I saw. You got
the chat here. We got Mike Lucas saying, it's a terrible name.
Yes. Cope.
Mike Maslama says, it'll grow on me. I got used to Edge. I can get used to anything. And then, let me see here.
Tim Redbeard's top results for Googling synonyms for Edge.
Okay.
Brim, fringe, cusp, verge, and rim. I think he should have went with rim.
Oh, but then if he loses,
is rim jobbing?
Yeah,
that's the joke I was getting at. Fringe is kind of a fun name.
Well, that's a lunatic. Fringe is Moxley.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah,
I would have gone with Verge.
Verge is
Virgil's dead. So.
Right? Yeah. Well, so is Sting in our eyes. He's retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you got next?
So what we got next is our top story. You're excited?
I know what it is, I believe, and I'm not excited. I'm very upset.
I think you're very excited.
It very hard.
WWE. This is unconfirmed at this point, but this has been heavily talked about.
Where? Do we got sources and shit?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
By phone. WWE to potentially hold Royal Rumble 2026 in
Saudi Arabia.
Man, you advocate for something long enough, Jake, and it comes true. You dedicated a whole show, me, you, and 30 other men, a show all about Royal Rumbles, and you've been saying
how it's not called women. Oh fuck!
You've been saying forever, like, man, I really hope this show just lives in Saudi, and it looks like it happened.
We're gonna get a 30 women Royal Rumble, in which none of the women can wear their regular fucking ring attire in this goddamn oppressive fucking country.
That's right.
I mean, we've talked about this, and you have pushed me towards the side of like, just brush it off. It is what it is. Who gives a fuck about like how it's hard to be a fan of WWE and also be politically conscious. I've talked about that for years.
Yeah.
And you have kind of pushed me towards like, if it's a thing you enjoy, just fucking enjoy it. There's enough other problems in the world to care about. There's other hills to die on. And you have pushed me in that direction.
Okay.
Now that Vince is not around, it's easier.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm happy, even though it still made him a fucking billionaire. But like,
yeah, he's not suffering.
But like, even like the news, even just like of the fact that no live shows are, I'm not sure if this is in our news, but I did read this, if it's unconfirmed or not, but there's no live shows between now and like March or February or something like that. Like Triple H is giving everybody time off at the beginning of the year. So there's no WWE live events scheduled. Like you hear things like that and you go, oh, when I say live events, I mean non-televised, like house shows. Yeah. The live tour. But I hear all this stuff and I'm like, oh, even from like a worker's standpoint, because I'm such a fucking pro-worker person, and here's this company who's like infamously abuses fucking workers and doesn't have unions and fights everything and doesn't take care of people. Like, I'm like, I can point to these things to go like, yeah, you know, it's getting better. Like I can be proud to be like, I support this in some way, shape, or form. And then the Saudi deal is like this cloud that hangs over everything, but it's a cloud that like is so dark that it is casting such a grand shadow over all of the good that I feel about where the company is right now from a political standpoint.
Right.
And the fact that there's fucking and I know that this is just politics at this point, but it's also, in my opinion, it's beyond politics because one side has drawn clear lines of anti-American sentiment into the sand. But the fact that you've got like Hulk Hogan branded fucking advertising and they're partnering with his shitty fucking beer company or whatever that is.
Who's siding with it?
What are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Is a political side is like backing Hogan's?
Yeah, meaning like, yes, meaning like choosing to support somebody who is so clearly on a specific part of a political spectrum that I believe goes beyond political spectrum in the current climate makes it tough. It's no longer like, you know, we're past the days of the, Leslie Graham, you know what? Not a big fan of Republican politics, but he's a nice guy. He seems like he's a nice, like we're beyond all of that shit. You know?
But Hogan's out of there. Like they're not using him. He's not a constant personality.
No, but like
he's almost turning into My Pillow guy.
Which we see how that went.
Yeah.
But the corporate part of it all is still really tough. And this Saudi thing, it's been easy to just like not. You've called them Elseworld shows, which I've enjoyed that. The reality is at some point...
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, at some point, like, titles started getting defended, and they became important. And, like, the last one that happened, I don't remember what it was.
And then they added more titles.
I think I tuned in for one of the matches after the fact from the last one. Mm-hmm. And then, like, a couple of them were on. I caught a few of them, and it's like... When I'm watching them, I try to justify my own guilt by being like, the people of Saudi Arabia should not be punished. Like they are so pleased and happy to have this there. And you see the kids and you see you see the young girls. And I think to myself, like, oh, maybe there's a part of what they watch here that is like helps them and helps inspire change.
Something positive.
Totally. And I've said that about the first one.
And they go, oh, look at those old white guys. Oh, they're getting paid so much money. And yet this is so terrible.
Yeah.
The DX and Brothers of Destruction.
But now it's like, now you're encroaching on one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. That's like one of the like tentpole wrestling things that even when I'm no longer watching wrestling at all, which I do see happening fairly soon, which is a great thing to say as a host of a wrestling podcast.
I feel like we've been in it again for years. Here.
No, because I used to watch all the pay-per-views and,
Do you?
yeah, I watch all the WWE pay-per-views. I watch them all.
There are no pay-per-views.
I'm sorry, premium live events.
So unplugged.
But even when I'm not watching, I will still tune in for the Rumbles because they're fun. And there's something that's very...
And that's why they know that they want to make it more fun for you.
All right, so now I'm getting off.
Saudi.
I'm going to get off of my my soapbox here and just say, don't like this. Tim Redbeard in the chat says the bloodiest Royal Rumble. Scott Narver in the chat says the clothiest Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce that?
That'll be the women's one. The clothiest.
Yeah, clothiest. I got lightheaded from that rant right now.
PW Insider reported that next year's event will take place in Saudi Arabia.
Arabia? Ooh, that was a Freudian slip.
And if confirmed, this will be the first Royal Rumble to be held outside of the United States since it became a pay-per-view and later premium live event. First Royal Rumble in Ontario, Canada was broadcast on the USA Network in 1988. Now, according to PW Insider, WWE's official announcement could come as soon as this Monday when Raw premieres on Netflix. In an interview with Ariel Helwani last May, Saudi Arabia's chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Turkai Al-Sheikh, no relation to Sylvester Turkai, said the country was speaking with WWE about hosting either WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble in 2026 or 2027. WWE has brought premium live events to Saudi Arabia each year since their 10-year agreement was signed in 2018. In recent years, they've held King and Queen of the Ring events, as well as Crown Jewel television tapings took place in the country in 2024. And this year's Royal Rumble will be on February 1st in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I guess I've never been to Indianapolis, but man, if you already go like, fuck, next year, let's just go to Saudi instead. That's a real ringing endorsement for Indianapolis.
Honestly, I think more so, yeah, it's also going to make it so that people who are like, well, I have to go to Indianapolis because for all we know, the Rumbles are not in America from now on, and it's my favorite event to go to.
Yeah.
So there might be people who, like the Indianapolis show, which all WWE events are selling out right now, which is why their ticket prices are fucking insane. But like,
and TKO.
Yes, sure. But I think that part of it is like, well, fucking let's go to this because can't do it next year.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a fucking woman.
So yeah, it's disheartening.
Yeah, it's very disheartening. Great. I like that you summed it up in one word, what I tried to ramble on for 4 fucking minutes. I guess it's the point of having a podcast though, right?
Right. You say it until you find it. It's like improv. It's disheartening. I like the Elseworld shows. I like the, hey, we're going to do something else and it's going to be weird and we might throw in some old people and it may be a train wreck. And I go, great. I love that there's a train wreck that can happen and people got overly paid and that's fine. Turns into this and I go, oh, well, shit. There is no one person now at the helm with WWE. It's not Triple H making all decisions. That's on the creative end.
Right.
Nick Khan has more influence, but I know there's other people on the board and money's money. These are Hollywood people that are taking over. These are wrestling people that are still there. I think everybody at the end of the day is like, well, yeah, we're not going to say no to that.
Right.
We're going to make sure that we'll do the things, but we still are going to say what needs to happen.
Right.
They're going to have their ceremonies with the prince coming in and ignoring a woman, but we still need to have pointing at the WrestleMania sign, which would be here, and we're gonna do this. But you know, the WWE is not satiated by anything. It wasn't just a Vince thing. That there's no amount of money where they go, we're not really interested in that.
Right.
That might look bad on us. I mean, if they announce it by the time this has come out, if it's January 6th, Netflix, Raw, people are excited and go like, oh, this is really cool. And then that comes out to counteract the excitement of, oh, this is really neat to watch it on Netflix. Oh, fuck you doing Rumble in Saudi?
Right. Right.
But do they care? Is it just like, people will be upset for a week and then we're fine?
It's that. That's what it is. It's just going to be the rage of the day. And the sad part is it's not an unjustified rage, but there's so much right now that's being thrown at us as human beings all the time, always, that it makes it easier to get away with this shit, you know, because, and at the end of the day, because this is just capitalism, this is simply it's show business,
Yep.
right? Wrestling is just show business. Because of that, the only way it would ever change would be if it hurt the bottom line, and it will never hurt the bottom line because 3 weeks after they're in Saudi, they're in a sellout show anywhere else in the world.
And anybody who's going like, I'm going to cancel my Peacock for that month, it's not going to be enough.
Nope.
It's not a big
drop in the
movement.
bucket.
It still just wants to watch what they're going to watch. And if they go like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
So you going to go?
To Saudi?
Yeah. We can get press badges.
I don't think they treat the press super great.
What are you talking about? Name one time.
Oh, boy.
You don't want to go as press to Saudi Arabia to talk about the Royal Rumble?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I'm not qualified.
For what? To talk about wrestling?
We're talking about wrestling.
You're so unplugged?
Yeah.
You're worried about going to Saudi Arabia and being unplugged from the
Edge
scene?
who?
You don't work there.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Not a fan. Who do you blame? Who do you blame at the end of the day?
Vince.
Really?
Yeah, it's a 10-year contract. And I don't get me wrong.
But they're escalating now.
I'm not saying, but are they, or are they picking and choosing? And this show, it's sort of like, this is the weirdest thing to pull onto. I don't know why it was the first thing that popped in the mind.
Okay.
This was for you, Gil, because it's a DC movie related. I don't know why it popped in my mind. This is, in my opinion, this is the equivalent of Ben Affleck playing Batman. He wasn't their choice to play Batman. They had a contract with Ben Affleck to make X amount of movies.
Yeah. And
Batman came along, and so they attached him to it to fulfill the contract, right? This is what that is. This is, there's a contract for shows, and Triple H has to now honor the contract that I'm sure he had some part in making, I'm sure, like when Vince was around, I'm sure like he was still present in all of this shit. But I think there's a possibility where he is like looking at the contract, looking at what they need to do and how the calendar year works out, when stuff is going to be there, when it's not going to be there. And it's a good possibility that this is just sort of what lined up. And like, I'm not going to
create shows.
Yeah, but they might not, but maybe because maybe they needed to have a show at some point now, or when I say now, I mean Rumble time.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to have the Rumble and then a week later, this big giant blowout show that they have to double advertise and split, all of that advertising.
That seems
time.
Unusual to me, where it's not just like,
it's all hearsay, but I'm saying like that's how I'm imagining it is, that like right now he's dealing with the cards and trying to get through the contract. We'll see come 2028 whether or not we go like, we've signed another 20 years because it was so successful. And then that's when I'm going to be like, yeah, fuck you, fucking Triple H. Like, get out of this.
I don't think any of them ever would.
Yeah. No,
because
I know so much money's being made.
That's what I'm saying. That they didn't stand and go, no, you don't get the Rumble.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You can have other things. Elimination Chamber seems more like your guys' style.
Right.
Or
they love eliminating.
Or we have plenty of old shows that we can just bring back or create something new. Do this. Hey, you guys got a greatest Royal Rumble. You want another one of those? Do anything? Don't they have to defend those gigantic titles at some point?
Yeah, every year.
Which are converted into a ring
annual,
in the meantime?
And kept in the WWE Experience live in Jeddah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they ultimately succumbed to, hey, you can have this. That's fine. So when there is talk of a Mania or that, they went, okay.
Like, yeah. And this might also do the exact opposite of what I'm saying. It is open floodgates.
They offered him the big two.
Yeah.
Because I think SummerSlam is now probably 3.
Yeah.
So.
Sucks.
Grace guys are gonna clear up.
Well, listen, we can put that out of our minds now and move on to
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Go there while the getting's good. If you're in the Ladies Royal Rumble, do you just wear like just pasties this year and that's it for the freedom of it?
Oh, I was like, where the fuck are you going with this, you perf? Right. Because it's gonna be so oppressive next year.
It was so oppressive. Just a little thong and just some pasties and be like, yeah, this I'm expressing myself.
Listen, I know I just transferred like we were going to move on, but now I'm going to bring us right back to it.
Yeah.
Think about all of the surprise entrants Like you're gonna fly people to Saudi Arabia.
No one's gonna break the news
But also like, I mean, I guess
Didn't
now
they kill that last year?
with NXT, I do feel like there's more than enough women in the roster. But usually with the women's one, they really have to like have partnerships and pull people from other companies. And like, I just feel like there's gonna be so many women who are gonna like, you're gonna, all right, sure, I'll come. Wait, you want me to wear what?
Oh yeah, we have these hefty bags that we gave to Mickey James.
All right. Anyways, you know what's way better than a Royal Rumble, Scott and Arbor? The PWP Championship Battle Royal.
Oh,
it is time.
You can wear as many or as little clothes as you want during these.
It is time now to select our first champion of 2025.
It's an interesting shaking choice visually.
It's on screen. It's not like I'm down here.
I mean, you could do it on screen no matter what, and then that's
you know what? New year,
our rates if
we're changing stuff around. Now all you have to do is be any patrons to
whatever shows out there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just be on that website.
We're like, how does this get made? Do they have one of those? Yeah, go over
there. With that said, I was talking about how things are changing. Here you go. You do it.
Why did I have to do the news then?
I've been picking that thing for however many years now.
You talking about your nose?
No, I don't pick. It's a much deeper process. All right, it is time for the first champ of 2025 for the month of January. Scott Narber.
I don't speak Carney well, so hopefully you wrote it in English.
It's printed out on a printer.
Okay. I've got a name.
He's got a name.
I've chosen a champion. Staying on camera. I'm not bought easily like Jake. And new PWP champion, Alex Pierce.
Alex Pierce. If I'm not mistaken, first time as PWP
ever.
champ.
Long-time listener, first-time champion.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Alex Pierce, congratulations.
It is official.
It is official. I really need to make those a little bit more like nice looking. Like I need to do something fun with. Those need to go back in the jar. Please don't eat it.
Why not?
Well, I guess next month if we have new patrons, we'll have to print out a whole new sheet.
Don't we eat these now afterwards?
Sure, why not?
So that way, we're showing it's legit.
You do whatever you want to do, okay? I'm trying to embrace just letting things go in 2025.
That is a nice way of me saying I'd like another cookie.
Okay, we'll get you one after this recording before the next episode. Congrats, Alex, on your victory.
I look forward to Alex Pierce's watch along.
Yeah, thank you so much for being a avid supporter and friend of the pod.
And now a new thing as well, officially is now entered.
Yep.
Into
the Championship of Champions in 2026.
Yeah, available for the prize package.
He has now one entry into the Championship of Championships, which will be the first or second episode, as we've learned today that there was a flaw in our plan of 2026.
That's right.
Mike Lucas in the chat says Alex finished his story. It's just the beginning, though. It's just the beginning, Mike.
Yeah. Man, wait, what day does this come out?
This comes out on the date.
Oh man, if it only came out tomorrow. Happy January 6th, Alex.
It comes out on the 7th. On
insurrecting the championship and
one day late. He showed up late. The bus was late to the Capitol.
Yeah,
He tried to hitchhike, but the guy didn't speak English, and so we didn't know where he was going. And he was like, Washington State? Sure. Started driving across the country. He was like, no, where you going? Why are we in fucking Chicago?
Oh, stop off for some deep dish.
That'll do it for this week's live stream, but the show's not over yet because we got to go see what the hotline has in store for us. So we are going to go do that. Scott and Arbor, say goodbye to the live stream.
Bye, live stream.
747-666-5606. That's the number of the Pro Wrestling Palskis hotline. Scott, now, you want to see what the hotline has in store for us today?
Yes, I do.
Hey, Palskis. It is Basketball Hour of the legendary Fighting Federation, and I was just pondering the past and have come across something that bothers me. And it shouldn't bother me because it's wrestling, and wrestling is silly, But all throughout the late 90s, the Big Boss Man was on the same roster as the Godfather, and never once tried to arrest this man for openly being a pimp, which is illegal. Prostitution is illegal. And the Godfather was out prostituting women, and the Big Boss Man never tried to arrest him. And man, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I hope that your new year is full of logical storylines and you fun characters. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all.
Mass Llama, very upset that Big Boss Man never did anything about the clear prostitution that was occurring. He said clear, we never saw money change hands.
Right. It was often a bribe to get out of a match.
Yeah.
The Godfather said, instead of fighting tonight,
right,
don't you want to hang out with these ladies? And would offer the ladies. He didn't then start negotiating.
Sure. Also, we don't know that they weren't there of their own volition, and it wasn't just like friends of his.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Those could have all been Vince Russo and Ed Ferraro's girlfriends.
No, they could have been. The point I'm trying to make is they are nobody's girlfriends.
Oh,
they're just independent women. I like that you
bullshit.
made it worse somehow.
Oh, that they would want to have sex with those two gentlemen?
Listen, first off, I don't like how anti-sex work Mass Llama is. First off, I think, you know what else is illegal that Big Boss Man probably should have been more concerned with? Attempted murder pretty regularly.
On himself?
On himself, on other people in the
When
locker
Undertaker
room. Yeah,
hung him?
Or what about people trying to run each other over with cars, blowing shit up? There were a lot more illegal activities.
He ran over. He stole Big Show's father's coffin.
Right. Also, oh yeah, that's right. We also don't know. Yeah, that's a huge felony. You're not allowed to like.
He looks more like he's in the
what
SWAT
remains.
team at that point.
I was gonna say I think that he was no longer. I think he lost his gun and badge. His lieutenant was
His
like,
nightstick and badge.
His lieutenant was like, "You got handed in. You're too unhinged for service."
Yeah.
By the way, I'm just gonna steal your point since you have not yet made it. You said earlier,
yeah.
Mass Llama, aren't you the one who loves Shakara?
Chikara.
Yeah. What did I say? Shakira?
Yeah.
He
Tamina.
loves them hips.
He loves Tamina.
He can't get enough of them hips.
Where they have ant people.
Listen, and they wrestle in slow motion.
And yeah, there's all kinds of logic issues there.
But
maybe it's just the brand of entertainment where it's like, look, I can handle it here. But I felt like WrestleMania 2000, the opening match with D'Lo and Godfather dressed out in full pimp gear with Ice-T rapping to the ring with them.
Right.
Versus Big Boss Man dressed in full cop gear, like riot police kind of gear, and with his buddy Bull Buchanan, who took on whatever people were wearing at the time, the Chad Gable of his time.
Okay,
the single white female of it all.
I'm not familiar with this at all. By the way,
it's without being overly stated. One of these moments with Vince where you go like, wow, he didn't really make that a thing.
Right.
It's just there.
Right.
It was white cops versus black pimps.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Just aesthetically.
Right.
But there was no, like, D'Lo was dressing up for the day.
Right.
Bull Buchanan dressed that way for a while.
I want to know if there was any overlap between Boss Man and Crime Time, because it was right in their name.
No. Boss Man was already very dead.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was at their bris. I don't know.
Wait, Crime Time were Jewish?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right, well, there
horrible jokes came to mind. And I refrained from all of them.
Yep. We're just gonna go ahead and move past it. Thank you so much.
If you thought of them too,
we're picking on you.
You're also a piece of shit listener.
Mass Llama, we love you. Thank you so much for joining us and for calling the hotline. Once again, 747-666-5606. If you want to call us with your ridiculous hotline calls so that we can make fun of you for the things you like. By the way, also, Mass Llama, you sounded very sad in that. So we just want to tell you that we love you, whatever's happening.
And hopefully your arrest record goes better.
Yeah.
Like you're putting criminals away.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Like,
yeah.
Maybe he's a, what are those, the Guardians?
Of the Galaxy?
No. Smaller.
You think he's a raccoon?
No, what, like in New York, the not angels, right? But
Guardian
they wear like
angels?
the red berets and they patrol the streets. You're
right.
from New York.
They made fun. Yeah. They made fun of it on Office when Dwight was a member of one of these groups in Scranton.
Okay.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah. Of course, they're ridiculous.
Maybe that's what mass llama is.
Yeah.
So
And
it's like, someone got away.
It all has pretty awful racial undertones too.
It does?
Yeah, they're pretty rough and they're pretty abusive to people of color. And even though it's made up of a lot of people,
so's Batman.
Anyways, that'll do it for this week's program. Hey, please become a patron over at patreon.com/PW Palskis. $5. That's all it is. $5 gets you literally everything because it is PWP 2020. $5.
That's right.
You have to put the space in there, or else it sounds more expensive than it is.
Right. Maybe that's next year.
Yeah, maybe next year it's going to be $2,025 on 2026 for some reason. No, we're going to keep it.
Okay.
Because you said that's what it'll be next year.
I see. All those taxes.
Hey, follow us on all the socials at PW Palskis. We don't post a lot. Find us in the Discord. You can find all the links to all of these things, including the shops. You get some sweet PWP merch over at pwpalskis.com. Scott, we have to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
Yes, thank you to all of our current Patreon Palskis who support the show. Get the word out there. It's as cheap as it's ever been, and maybe as cheap as it's ever going to be. So get you some. And thank you to all of our Palskis. AJ0314, Alex Pierce, the new PWP champ, Andrew Beeler, Gilbert Short, Mass Llama, Matt Storm, Mexican Stallion, Michael Beltran, Mike Lucas, Suicide, Tim Redbeard, Tom Hader, and Tony Griggs.
Thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support. We hope you had fun hanging out with us. It's always a blast spending time with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.